So a lot of superficial fucking trash online. I'm talking about most people you and I are surrounded by. They really like this Ben Taper guy because he talked a little bit of trash. He dished up superficial shit. He didn't delve deep. He didn't dig deep and show you things that reflect reality, shit that matters. He just shops around fucking noise on the goddamn internet. Here's some of that noise. Now, the message that you're about to hear, it's an important one, mind you. It still is important. I want you to appreciate that. But there's a lot of things that are out of place. There's a lot of things that haven't been addressed in order for this to fucking work. Here's the message, then I think I already typed it all out. Yeah, I did. And then I'll show you something else.
They don't know what a strike is.
Right. 1 second. He's saying strike. You can think of boycotts too, but he's saying strike in case you can't figure that out. Hold on 1 second. Here we go.
These people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back to 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the company's money to pay their salaries. Well, they went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're going to be like this. Who's going to win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And today's world, these people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down.
Did it just repeat?
You know what's going to happen? I'll tell you.
Pardon me. I was in the other room grabbing a cookie and some fucking Earl Grey. Here's what I left on here. Or intended to. 1 second. I said, so let's address something else that's quite old. The people aren't concerned with, and it should probably say, and people aren't concerned with, unconstitutional taxation. It shouldn't exist. If we were free, it wouldn't exist. Understand that I've said this a lot, you guys, and I understand if you guys have heard this too many fucking times, but it's relevant. And for those of you who haven't heard it, and or if you have heard it and you haven't done this, look into it. Look it up. Figure it out. Understand that it reflects reality. What I'm saying is important for people to fucking appreciate. Said, if we were free, it wouldn't exist in constitutional taxation. Understand that the Republic fell during the Civil War and was finalized in 1871. Here. 1871 minus, this is allegedly the year. It's 153 fucking years. Just for perspective's sake. This is when the Organic Act established the bottom of the trilateral city-states. I'm referring to the District of Columbia. Look up the etymology of Columbia. It's not a good thing. This also marks when America became a corporation in all capital letters. That's a huge fucking deal for anybody who claims that they're a patriot and any of the other hogwash that people fucking shop around, superficially shop around. Take that to heart. But you got to look into this to appreciate what I said. Why it matters, why it should resonate with you. Why it's more important than running around like a fucking idiot and saying, I'm a patriot. Because that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. You're proud that you are a slave and you work for a fucking corporation that doesn't have your interest in mind, your best interest in mind, let alone anything beneficial to you and yours. You're an idiot. And we're surrounded by them. All right, back to point. I'm off kilter with this. Let's see. In other words, what the guy is talking about in the video is cute, but we need to have priorities in order for things to change for the better. There is no using the system to fix the system because the system is not in place to benefit us. What we need to do is pull up all the weeds, or if you prefer a different analogy, we need to cut off the heads of all the snakes and start over like fucking adults. Every community should be full of mom and pop shops because it's a symbiotic system. In other words, what they sell, what they produce, all that crap, it should be part of the community. It should be giving back to the community. It should be supporting families in the community. And this should be generational, but it's not. It's not. You got all these kids who will whine about, the color of people's skin, and they'll talk about minorities and this, that, and the other thing. Why don't you apply that to business? How many mom and pop shops do you see in big cities in terms of a ratio compared to the McDonald's, Walmart, fill in the fucking blank, Starbucks, Barnes & Noble, list goes on. It's disproportionate because the word of the day is disparity, but people aren't concerned with shit that fucking matters. They're talking about the fucking color of the skin. Just one example of just how stupid and superficial people are. Parallel those two thoughts. What I just said makes sense, but you got to think about it. Where am I at again? Mom and pop shops because it's a symbiotic system, but that's not what we experience. So back to what the guy said in the video. He's talking about jurisdictions within jurisdictions. I'm talking about phony spheres of influence. Concentric circles is what I'm getting at. And then I rattle it off a different way just to be a fucking bastard. I said, or if you prefer right angles, phony nesting squares of influence that govern our lives. I said these are but cogs, mind you. But they are still aspects of the control mechanism. And it should say, no, that's not right. It should say the noose that surrounds our necks because our masters are tightening the noose. Each one of those cute little communities that I was referring to, and keep in mind, this didn't type out what I wanted because I was talking to my phone and being lazy and thinking about fucking cookies. They too could have a supply chain across great distances. So long as they worked, and it should be past tense, worked together and acted like adults. The infrastructure is in place currently. I really want you to think about that. The infrastructure that you and I need to make this work is in place currently. It's capitalism, mind you. That's also another reason why that's being drugged through the mud. Keep in mind, capitalism works. It's not a horrible fucking model. It obviously works. And it works well. If we had a gold standard, think about that. Or even a silver standard. If we had priorities, if we were invested in communities and we, they were joined together across, again, great distances. It's a shit way to put it. If people were acting like fucking adults is the point of this entire fucking thing. Our masters are, I already stopped reading this, pardon me. It was almost over anyway. But our masters want people to tear the infrastructure down so that they can make us go through a horrible fucking time to where we will be nothing but, what's the word? Desperate for anything and everything relating to creature comforts that they might offer, so long as, we do what they want. There's going to be an ultimatum. This is part of what's coming. It's down the line. It's not happening today, so you're probably not interested in what I just said. You're probably not concerned with it because you're not currently living through it. You still have all these modern conveniences of luxury. So none of this matters to you. Which is pretty fucking stupid. Because, especially for those of you who were Cub Scouts or even Boy Scouts, always be prepared. But that's no longer something that people stress for the most part. It's another reason why preppers are being demonized these days. Because it's not something that you're supposed to do. Because that runs counter to the fucking official narrative in place to subjugate you and I. Now, all the crap I poorly rattled off in here, there's so much more to this. And it's all firmly rooted in logic. It's rooted in what reflects reality. It has to do with what people should be fucking thinking in terms of, but people aren't thinking at all. Because you and I are surrounded by fucking idiots. Look at how many people are following this crap. Because he's not shopping around shit that matters.